Guilty on all charges.
After just one day of deliberation, the three men who played a role in the plot to kidnap the governor could now spend decades behind bars.
6 News reporter Shamir Owens is here for you now with reaction to this verdict from the legal teams behind the case.
Sherry and Lauren, this morning, a jury in Jackson County found Joe Morrison, his father-in-law Pete Musico, and Paul Ballar guilty on all charges, a triumph for state prosecutors and a big loss for the defense.
The count 1 of gang membership felonies, we find the defendant guilty. Count 2, providing material support for an act of terrorism, we find the defendant guilty. Count 3, weapons, felony firearm, we find the defendant guilty.
Paul Ballar, Joe Morrison, and Pete Musico, all guilty of gang membership, a 20-year felony, guilty of providing material support for terrorist acts, also a 20-year felony, and guilty of weapons, felony firearm, a 2-year mandatory prison sentence.
Juror number 1, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 2, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Back in 2020, prosecutors say members of the Wolverine Watchman Group made a plan to kidnap the governor. The men held a gun training in Jackson County and other gatherings, all in preparation to snatch the governor from her vacation home up north. Now in a courtroom, 3 of the men involved learned their fate. 44-year-old Musico seen getting emotional while listening to the verdicts.
I was a little disappointed in how the case was presented by the prosecuting attorney, quite frankly.
Reaction to the verdict from Paul Ballar's attorney, Andrew Kirkpatrick. He says all of the evidence was not presented to the jury, and because of that, he believes this case is not over.
At the end of the day, the jury has spoken, but I assure you, based upon my recollection of this entire case, there's going to be some appellate issues in this case for sure.
While a defeat for the defense, state prosecutors are pleased with the jury's decision.
They wanted to make sure that these individuals were correctly convicted of the crimes that they had committed. These are the first convictions under Michigan's anti-terrorism law, and also a victory for the rule of law and the safety of all Michiganders.
The judge ordered all 3 men to jail until their sentencing date, December 15. Be sure to stay with 6 News as we bring you the latest updates. Back to you.
Thank you, Shamir. Governor Whitmer issued a statement following the verdict, saying in part, today's guilty verdicts are further proof that violence and threats have no place in our politics. Those who seek to sow discord by pursuing violent plots will be held accountable under the law. She went on to say that no threat, no plot, no rhetoric will break my belief in the goodness and decency of our people. The General Motors said today that it secured all of the renewable